The story starts off with a man named Jerry who is giving a motivational speech to a bunch of teenagers who all are standing in a formation. Basically, he lectures them about starting a revolution against the government. Pretty much, he said if they don't do anything, their kids is going to hate them for the rest of their lives. After the lecture, Jerry handpicks the teenagers for the unknown mission.
The story goes on to the airport, the air flight, Nigerian Airways, where passengers are waiting to board the flight along with the teenagers who were picked in the formation. All passengers board the flight alongside with the teenagers. There was Omar, Dio, Ben, and Coyote. Fine girl high now. Ben looked nervous as he anticipates what's about to happen. He goes into the plane restroom and gets a pistol beneath the sink. Of course, somebody left it there. He walks casually back to his seat and signals his colleagues to get ready. Moments later, in mid-flight, the hostile takeover began. Ben grabbed the flight attendant as a hostage, armed with a pistol. Omar works down the aisle, making an announcement there's a bomb on the plane. Pistols are drawn as passengers panic. The pilots heard the commotion and ready in for emergency help. Sooner or later, the hijackers made it to the cockpit and made a radio announcement to the passengers. Pretty much, they introduced themselves as freedom fighters and declared the Nigerian government being corrupt. They demanded the military government to step down, to resign this guy, and wanted this guy, the one who won the election, to be reinstalled, or else they will blow up the plane.
Baba to the people.
Wait though. Allegedly. Make I say am again oh. Allegedly. Nobody say this man don't kill plenty people. You don't kill plenty people past the number of people where they inside for that plane. And you won't bluff him. That one now move. Okay, back to the story. The hijackers ordered the pilots to take them to Frankfurt, Germany. The pilots suggested to the hijackers they need to refuel. In order to refuel, they need to land the plane in Niger. The Niger army officials were aware of the hijacking situation. They mobilized to get ready to raid the plane. When one of the hijackers threatened to kill a flight attendant visibly, the Niger force backed down. Moments later, the hijackers went into a heated argument about the situation they are facing. Argument was so tense that Coyote and Ben almost got into a fist fight. Moments later, the Nigerian Army Special Force arrived to Niger. They jumped out of helicopters, making yanga in front of the Niger force that they went to airsoft school, which wasn't necessary. Nigerian Army commander briefed the Niger force commander there is a very important figure in the plane that they're concerned about, the son of the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, meaning he doesn't give a shit about Nigerian citizens at the moment.
Yeah, boy.
Meanwhile, in the plane, Coyote is confronted by a fellow passenger.
I'm gonna get high now.
Basically, she tells him to rethink what he's doing, but he responded how brutal the country was, how it wasn't fair.
Omar seniors.
He went into a flashback of why he's on this mission. All he remembers, his boss is telling him how the election was stolen. Moments later, the two unarmed soldiers who were there to protect the ambassador's son attempt to disarm the hijackers.
No going back.
After a brief fight and a scuffle, the hijackers threatened to kill the ambassador's son, causing them to give up. Somewhere in Nigeria, citizens had mixed reviews about the hijackers. Some called them heroes, while others suggested they are just spoiled boys with fatherless behaviors. The next day, as the pilot stares down at the hijackers,
Waiting you look at, you won't collect.
they wonder how they beat the airport security to bring weapons on board the plane. They concluded it could have been an inside job, possible the flight attendants. Finally, the plane was refueled and the hijackers were happy. Until the Nigerian Army commander came up with a demand. Their demand was to release 10 passengers or their family will face the consequences. Meanwhile, one of the pilots secretly informs one of the flight attendants that it could be possible there's an inside job. There's somebody helping the hijacker due to the fact that weapons were on board the plane. Outside the plane, it was now known that the Nigerian commander needs to secure the ambassador's son before he could come up with a plan to raid the plane. Inside the plane kitchen, the flight attendant secretly informs the other flight attendant it's possible soldiers may try to board the plane. Then after that, she informs the other flight attendant there's possible there's one more soldier on board the plane. Moments later, the flight attendants stepped out the aircraft to get food for their passengers since they were running low. They went back to the aircraft as the news media reported the situation. As time went by, the hijackers began to search all the passengers. When the flight attendant
asked why are they searching the passenger. The hijacker responded, there might be a soldier on board the plane that has weapons. From there on, the flight attendant knew who was the rogue attendant helping the hijacker. All of a sudden, the ambassador's son got sick and needed to be taken off the plane. Dario, on the other hand, tries to question his fellow hijackers if this has gone too far. Later is to be found it was a trick by the Nigerian commander who intentionally poisoned his food to get him out so he can open the plane to raid the plane. Women and children were released as hijackers made another demand. The demand was not to return to Nigeria and want to face the court in Niger. Omar, who was very exhausted, suddenly announced to the passengers they will surrender, and the passengers were happy. On the other hand, Ben wasn't having it. He went into full panic mode, pouring fuel all over the plane, and somehow shocked one of the passengers. The passenger Coyote bonded with. Coyote was mad and furious that he beat the living shit out of Ben before everybody could break the fight up. Later that night, there was a raid. The Nigerian army stomped into the plane, pointing rifles everywhere. The boys were apprehended, and one of the flight attendants got arrested. However, at the end, it appeared one of the flight attendants, the wrong one, was a part of the revolution, aka hijackers. The hijackers were sentenced 9 years in Niger. But good news, they didn't have to face this guy.
Lucky bastards. Thanks for watching. Give a like or subscribe to this channel if you like recaps like this.